Hari Om, good evening, a very warm welcome to all of you. Please come. Let's invoke the power of praying together. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amrutam Gamaya Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryankaravavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. O Lord, the Almighty, the Omniscient, Omnipresent, Omnipotent, who also has the divine name Abhuhu, to such a Supreme Almighty, together with Shraddha, Bhakti and Prapatti, we offer our humble salutations to seek your grace, your love, your mercy, your affection, your kindness, your benevolence, your forgiveness. O Lord, enhance the divine qualities in all of us, such as Shraddha, Bhakti, Jnana, Vairagya, Prapatti and Mumukshutva. This is only and only to have a first-hand experience of Thy true self in our very own hearts and in this very life. Without these qualities, we will not be able to see You within us. We again and again beseech in You to grant us this rarest of the rare opportunity. Om Tat Sat. Our humble salutations to the entire Guru Parampara. Today, by the grace of the Almighty and the blessings of the Guru Parampara, we are on our Divine Discourse number 402 on the 27th of November 2024. Krodhinama Samvatsara Dakshinayana Sharadrutu Kartika Masa Krishna Paksha Saumya Vasare Dwadasyatitau Chitta Nakshatra Ayushman Yoge Taitulakarane. On this auspicious day of Wednesday and the auspicious time of the evening, we all decide to make a firm resolve with profound understanding. Naham karta hari karta hari preranaya hari prityartam. Whatever is happening in my life is only and purely at the behest of the Almighty. I completely surrender to the Divine. O Lord, thereby, whatever comes to me in my life as situations, circumstances, incidents, happenings, occasions, through persons, places, or objects, I consider all these as sure blessings coming from You. Some come as challenges, some come as hurdles, some come as devastation, some come as joy and happiness. Without questioning any of these, I, with a pure heart filled with devotion, accept that everything has come to uplift me from this ocean of births and deaths. My pure devotion to You is not questioning anything that comes to me, and above that, accepting it with grace and devotion. O Lord, continue to give me this strength so that I am able to see You within me. Om Tat Sat. Hari Om everybody. A very warm welcome to all of you once again. So we are at the penultimate discourse of the 6th chapter. Finally, Lord Krishna answers to two very important questions what Arjuna puts forth. One, Arjuna clearly says, "What are you saying, Krishna? How can you control this mind? It's like that turbulent wind. I don't think humanly this is possible." To which Lord Krishna says, "What you say is right." He does not put him down. He says, "What you say is absolutely right. But only those who make an attempt, a right attempt, And what is that attempt? In terms of gaining control over the mind. Again and again, you need to control. Here, if you see, the only challenge for us in our life is changing the default setting. What is the default setting? Looking outward. And who are the partners in crime over here? The mind and the senses. The senses show you wonderful things outside, where not one sense but all the five senses are extremely strong, and the mind starts taking decisions, giving the organs of action an order to execute. So how are we are caught in this trap? So continuously our mind is focused outside, and that is the default setting. Now here is the jnana which is coming here. Atma jnana, what we call. This default setting can be corrected when we turn it the other way. What has gone outside now has to be turned inside. So that is where Lord Krishna says, this is not for everybody, it is possible. Nobody will even ask this question. They'll rather say, how more can we enjoy life? They look for more beautiful places to travel. They look for more beautiful places to eat. They look for more beautiful things to touch, to listen. No? So, this is the endeavor of, if you see, materialistic people who are after carnal pleasures will only be doing this again and again, and to a heightened level. So, once a sadhak starts getting these signals in life, okay, he gets this knowledge. He says, now change your mind inward. So that's when he says, by practice you move forward. And then he says, for practicing this kind of a mind reversal or a mind control, what is important is detachment, vairagya. You're so fondly attached to things in life. How can you say you control the mind on one hand and then you say you be attached to everything you have? It's like, when you're driving a car, you're putting one leg on the brake and on the other leg on the accelerator. What is the meaning of this? That's no driving. You won't achieve. On one hand you're pressing the accelerator and on the other hand you're pressing the brake also, meaning it's a foolish attempt. If at all you want to apply brakes, first remove your leg from the accelerator and put it on the brake. Then only you will be able to control. So this vairagya, detachment, comes first. Remove your leg from the accelerator and then apply it on the brake, meaning the mind. So there what happens is you will be able to see that vehicle which was going at full speed, now it gains control. As simple as that. So in this way now, to this question, Lord Krishna answers how I can't control the mind. And then another question which comes from Arjuna is, okay, I am now continuing my sadhana. I'm in the mode of changing this default setting. And for whatever reason, a person dies in between. It could be due to ill health. It could be due to an accident, whatever. Or it could be to a sudden stroke of bad luck. Now in such case, what happens to the soul? So in today's session, we'll be learning more about what happens to the soul, how is it protected. That is what Lord Krishna will be telling us in verse 41 and 42. And it continues. It's interesting. It's almost coming to 47 verses we have. We'll try to complete about, say, 4 or 5 verses today, and then next class we will complete this chapter and immediately take a revision along with it. Okay, come. So let's chant the 41 and 42nd shloka. Now an answer to Arjuna's question. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Prapya Punya Kritan Lokan Ushitva Shashvati Samaha Shuchinam Shrimatam Gehe Yoga Bhrashto Bijayate Athava Yoginameva Kule Bhavati Dhimatam Etadve Durlabhataram Loke Janma Yadidrisham. So, let's understand the gist, and then we'll go into details. So here 41 and 42 verses, they discuss about the fate of those who practice yoga, in other words spiritual discipline, but do not reach the complete success in their practice, meaning they do not reach the end. Like say if you have 100 meters, you are in a 100 meters race, you are somewhere at say 80 or 90 meters, you break down. You have not touched the finish line. So what happens to them who have not touched the finish line? So now we'll break these two verses. The first one, 41. So such an unsuccessful yogi, now what he does is, to such a person who has got still enough of punya to his account. See, we all have got our credits and debits. So if you have accumulated punya and slightly lower vairagya, see now he is addressing that, a further extension to the point what he was talking about, you need to have vairagya, detachment. So here he says, now these people have got punya to their account, but they are falling short of vairagya, which means still they want to enjoy the benefits of their punya. Now they are born, they go to higher lokas, and meaning higher lokas where punya can be exhausted much fast, because they've got enough of punya on hand. Like you now you want to spend money. If you go to a local restaurant nearby in your gully here and there, how much you can spend? You will eat something, you will drink something, or you may at best go for a picture. You may spend in a few thousands. But you have lot of punya, lot of money. So if you feel that I want to spend good lot of money, then what do? You go to a much expensive place. Or you go to another destination, which could be another country altogether. And in that another country, you will go to the best of the exotic locations. And instead of staying in a standard room, you will try to say, let me stay in a suite. Got it? So this way, now based on the amount you have, your capability to spend, you go to those kind of locations. So here, this jiva, now since it has got accredited punya to its account, it will go to several higher lokas. Like you go and stay in a hotel, you have a 2-star, you have a 3, you have a 4, you have a 5, you have a 7. So these punyas go to those kind of levels. They exhaust their punya, and then they are born in a family which is righteous people. Parents are divine. environment in the house is, it starts with a morning prayer. There are rituals in the house, and different traditions, orthodox systems are followed in the house. Each and every festival is followed in the right manner. And they give importance to pilgrimages, importance to festivals, importance to seva, importance to charity. See, all good qualities. And they are of a decent family, wealthy background. So, who are rich and who have a decent, you can call as a monetary background. Okay. Now, this is the situation. Now, what happens is, now this soul is in a way ready. It has got the right conducive atmosphere. See, it has not exhausted its entire punya. Now, when you go on a holiday, you are not going to spend to the last rupee and come in a place where you are. You will still come back with some money, isn't it? So, in the same way, this jiva has come back with some punya. And so they get a family where it is born, which has got enough wealth. So there is no dearth for they having to earn for their daily living. Not that kind of a family where they can straight do all these kind of things, pilgrimages, seva, then dana, then rituals, all these kind of things. So now this is one aspect. Now let's say there is another 6, this is about verse 42. Another unsuccessful yogi, sadhak, he has developed vairagya. And which means he is ready. See, understand this now. The difference is, the second category has developed vairagya, whereas the first category, he still does not have enough of vairagya or detachment. So that is the only distinguishing factor over here. Now, as a result of which, what happens is, the Lord says, okay, now I will put you in a family which is with jnanis, wise people, yogis who are at an elevated level. I will put you there. So right from the time you are in the mother's womb, you will be talking not of ritualistic life, not of sadhana in terms of chitta shuddhi, chitta ekagrata. No, you will be straight talking about jnana. Now, how is this family? They will be always chanting the Upanishads. They will be always talking about the tattva jnana. They are not talking about shruti, smriti, stotra, vrata, niyama, no. Rituals, dana, no. They are straight into Atma jnana, like what we are practicing now. So, in this way, now the Lord says, I make this, give this soul that kind of a situation where they are able to evolve to the best extent. And now for the first category, let's talk of some examples of what the Shastras say, like King Janaka, King Ambarisha, Vidura, Buddha. All these are of that category, where they are born in a rich family, got the right conducive atmosphere for developing themselves on the spiritual path. So this is Suchinam and Shrimatam. Suchinam means pious, Shrimatam means rich and prosperous. The second category, Yoginam, were enlightened parents. In this category, we have the example of Maharshi Veda Vyasa, Maharshi Sukadev, Santa Gnaneshwar, Vashishta Maharshi, Tukaram. So, Santa Tukaram. So, these are all the second category, where their parents were not well to do. They are born in a very ordinary family. Now, because they don't have attachment towards any luxury, that jiva does not is no more looking at bhoga, but bhoga is still there in the first category. So he says, I do it on these lines, and Now I'll tell you some interesting facts. Like, let's take Narada Muni. Now, what is the story of Narada Muni? Narada Muni was a simple, pious boy of about 6-7 years old, who did not have much attachment towards toys or games, playing sports, playing pranks. No. He was living with his mother in an ashram and serving the people who come to the ashram. His mother was basically a maid servant over there. So she used to clean the rooms, she used to give water to the cows, she used to sweep the floors and clean the toilets. So that was her job over there. And he was assisting his mother. As a boy of 5-6 years, he's good enough. Whatever little he could do, he was helping his mother. Now one day it so happened that the period of Chaturmasa came in. Chaturmasa is basically the rainy season, which starts in the month of July. So for 4 months, all these sadhaks, saints, sages, munis who are on their path going from one place to another, they halt at one place because it's extremely tedious to travel during the rainy season. See, now we have so much of shelter and you have very good vehicles, mode of transport, so it really doesn't matter. But in those days when people were going by walk from one place to another, it was extremely difficult to travel. So these, in the Chaturmas, they used to halt at one place. Now it so happened during this Chaturmas, a group of highly you can say, who have reached a pinnacle of success in terms of spirituality, such Vaishnavas who are very well versed in scriptures. Now they come and stay in their ashram. Now mother is doing her job in terms of serving them. And this boy, young sweet boy, he used to always sit around these Vaishnavas who were doing that chanting, who were doing their study. He used to sit there. Any small thing they wanted, he used to immediately run and get it for them. So they say, just as sitting close to somebody who is sick, somebody is infected with virus, okay, you sit next to them, you will also catch virus. In the same way, that is a disease. How disease is transferred from one person to another. So this disease of devotion was transferred to this young boy. That was the first thing which happened. That satsanga, what we call. The proximity of Narada to this group of Vaishnavites, that got him a level of purity. And then one day he eats the leftovers of food of these sages. Of course, see, for leftovers, what permission they've already left it and gone. Now whoever cleans their a plate or their leaf, he has got full authority over that. Either you throw it or you give it to some dogs or whatever you do. So he still asks the permission of these sages. Can I eat? He says, you know what? Can I eat this Mahaprasadam? What is left over on a leaf? He says, can I eat this Mahaprasadam? And those Vaishnavite sages were sapped. Says, this young boy, to eat the leftovers, is calling it as Mahaprasadam and seeking permission. And with full blessings they said, go ahead, my son. So when he ate that food, leftover food, they say there was a complete transformation in that boy. And in a few days, in fact, in this particular life, he is not Narada. He has got some other name. Now his mother passes away. She is bitten by a snake in the ashram and she passes away. See, now already transformation has happened. He has caught the bhakti virus and he is now blessed with these sages by eating the leftovers of their food. Now he No sooner his mother dies, whatever they tell him to do, he does all those rituals, and then he burns down his hut over there, whatever is wherever he was staying, he burns it down. He says, I don't want anything. He says, this is the will of that Almighty. And he then gets into deeper spiritual practice. And he says, I know that this Lord is there to give me something better. See, a young boy, how does this come? That's satsanga. See, in life we have two things always. If something happens to you according to your choice, accept it, saying as Hari Kripa. It is nothing but Hari's Kripa. Accept it wholeheartedly. And something does not happen to you as per your wanting, then say Hari Cha. I know Hari has got some plan for me in this. It may not seem right to me right now, but I know that he has a game plan. He knows how to think 10 steps ahead of me. And friends, I must tell you, this is my lifetime experience. Earlier, you are at a still immature stage. You're still growing on this spirituality. You're at a rock bottom level. At that time, when things don't work the way you want, you feel agitated. But then somewhere his krupa, you get that confidence when you have analyzed after moving forward, and then you connect the dots backward and you see, oh, if that day I had not failed, I would not have come so much forward in life. Then that acceptance for everything which happens in life comes to you without any trouble. Otherwise, you have trouble in accepting. But here, as you make it a point, you say, if it happens according to what you wanted, Hari Kripa. If it doesn't happen as you wanted, Hari Icha. Who knows? So this way, he accepts the death of his mother and he's established in that knowledge. And what happens is he gets into deep meditation. At one point of time, he, with the blessings of these Vaishnavites, he gets the darshan of the Lord. So now here he is narrating the story to Vyasa Maharshi, instigating him to write Bhagavatam. Now we all know Vyasa Maharshi, after having distributed all the shlokas into 4 broad gateways as the 4 Vedas, after having written all the 18 Puranas, still he was not satisfied. So then Narada tells Maharshi, what is this? Why you are still so dull and not so pleasant? He says, what to do? I don't know what's the reason. So then Narada Maharshi tells Vyasa Muni that this essence of love, bhakti, is not there in all your writings. So then he tells him to write Bhagavatam. So during that time he says, I had a wonderful experience of the Lord. So now here Narada Muni is talking of his previous birth, where we are talking about this boy. So in this way he says, Narada, he says, the Lord spoke. I regret that during this lifetime you will not be able to see me anymore. The Lord openly tells him after giving him a darshan. So those who are incomplete in service and who are not completely free from material taints can hardly see me again. So once he says, and the Lord says, you cannot see me again. You have only once seen me as a person, and now this is enough for you to increase the desire for me, because the more you hanker for me, the more you will be freed from all the material desires. See, where is our mind? Our mind is on all the attachments what we have. That's the reason Abhyasena to Vairagyam. Vairagyam, you remove that also. You have attachment. So where will your mind be on God? Whenever you don't get something, or whenever what you are attached to, that gets disturbed, then only we think about God. So he says, this is a kind of a upliftment for that boy who was meditating. So Narad Muni, he accepts it, and eventually what happens is, after he passes away, then the next life He is born straight to Lord Brahma as his Brahmaputra, Narada Muni. So see, whatever good, now he had that vision of the Lord, which he started constantly desiring for that to happen again. But he knows it's not happening. And the Lord also had said, the more you anchor for me, I'm going to, the more you will rise in life. So with this thought, he does that severe penance and straight is given that life where he establishes himself in Lord Narayana. Another story is of sage Veda Vyasa. Now, Veda Vyasa is not born to some great scholars and things like that, and parents like that. He was son of an ordinary fisherwoman. And it is said that in his past life he was a great sage, was not able to complete his mission due to distractions and worldly concerns. And thereafter, now he had, whatever way it was, he had done his sadhana in his previous life. Now that again comes back to Veda Vyasa. Although he is born in a poor family, but they are of righteous people. Although they were fishermen and women, his parents, but they were righteous people, had the right values, and they were associated with the right kind of satsang. So this way, what we understand here is, anything you have done in your life with respect to spirituality, not an ounce of it goes waste. See, the rest of it, everything you are doing, you see for your own self, that's all going to go down the drain. Excepting for the spiritual practice, the good and the bad you do, nothing else is coming with you. So every moment we spend on the spirituality is going to come multifold to you back again. There cannot be a better investment than this in your entire life. You may spend time in buying a property. You may spend time in earning some money. You may spend time in building a relationship. You may spend time on your health. All these are going to go down. But whatever time we have spent in Bhagavad Namasmarana, in Swadhyaya, in practices of Chitta Shuddhi, Chitta Ekagrata, Karma Yoga, all these are going to come back to you multifold. So now, having said this, now he takes us to the next verse. Let's read the verse. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Tatra tam buddhi sanyogam labate paurvadehikam yatate chatato bhuyaha samsiddhau kurunandana. So here again, Kurunandana, O son of the Kurus, he says, I will ensure tatratam buddhi sanyogam labate paurvadehikam. He says, with whatever wisdom, knowledge you have acquired in your previous body, previous life, he, such a sadhak, is given back all that knowledge. Now it is coming from the Lord. It's like coming from the highest court, which is the Supreme Court. He says, I give it back. And this sadhak, although he has got a new body, this sadhak remains the same. Even as a newly born, he remains the same. He comes in the family of yogis and he gets the right conducive atmosphere. Samsiddho. With what? This is another addition, he says. I will send him in such a way, with that knowledge, he will strive for more perfection. See, imagine, now you have money. And you have a little bit of intelligence in terms of employing that money and earning that money. What happens if along with you somebody who is an expert in handling financial matters and who is able to invest wisely? If that person comes with you, what happens? Your money will grow. So in the same way, you have that knowledge. Now, to you as a person, he says, I give you that samsiddhau, where you are able to strive for perfection. Yatate bhuyaha tataha, meaning than before. I will give you more than before. And now from where do you start your life? So there he answers. Like for example, you are, now there is a wedding in the family. Suddenly you have to travel to a place. And you are making all arrangements, and tomorrow you have to send a letter to the school because you need a permission from the principal in terms of leave for the child. So you start writing a letter. After all the work in the night, you start writing a letter to Miss so and so, class so and so, school so and regarding my child, name, roll number, you write, and you feel tired. Says, okay, let me write tomorrow. I think I'm not able to write further on this. And you go to bed. Now tomorrow morning you get up. And when you get up, are you going to start again saying to Madam Miss so and so, class so and so, school so and so? Are you going to do that? No. From wherever you have left, you will straight come to the subject now. You will come to the matter. You will say, I need 3 days leave for my son, since there is a wedding in the family. So and so dates, I request you to grant leave. Yours faithfully. So from wherever you have left, you will restart the letter from there. In the same way, Lord Krishna says, whatever sadhana you have done in this life, that is yours. It is lock, stock, barrel, it is yours. I will give all that. I will carry that for you. I will give it in a different body, born in a more conducive family. See, now here when you say family, it need not be the parents and it not be the brothers, sisters, not that kind of a situation. You will be in a conducive family, meaning you will be in a situation where you will get the conducive atmosphere, environment to move ahead. So, this is what he promises. So, even if we see in our life, so on one hand, sometimes what happens is parents are good, but they may not be spiritual. But at the same time, they will not oppose you to go on spirituality. That is good enough. So your spouse may not be spiritual, but they will not at least come on your way to practice spirituality. So this way, he says, I will give you the right environment, conducive family, atmosphere, and he says, you can now progress on your path. So this way, any jiva who has taken a call that, yes, I am on this path, meaning now whatever we have achieved during this life, till the time we go on achieving, that is all properly collected, stored, and if at all there is any mishap in this birth, that is all going to come back to you, which will be delivered to you by the Lord, which he takes a promise over here. And there's a beautiful story to narrate this. King Bharata, who was a great ruler and the son of a Rishabha Deva. This is not Bharata of Dushyanta and Shakuntala. This is of a Rishabha Deva. Now, in fact, if we have to understand a little bit more about Rishabha Deva, he is a king and a very revered figure who in fact has been considered as the first Tirthankara in the Jainism also, and he is an avatar of Lord Vishnu in some traditions. So, this Bharata, who is a king, an avatar of Lord Vishnu, now, one day it so happens that now his situation is he has renounced his entire kingdom. He says, I want to come and practice spirituality. I want to do my sadhana. He comes to the forest alone. And he is doing his sadhana there. His deep meditation, spiritual practices, everything going on fine. One day he encounters a pregnant a doe. Now that doe, frightened by the lion's roar, it started crossing the river. And as it crossed the river, it gave birth to a fawn, a baby, and it perished. So Bharata was on the side of the river to which this doe came and died giving birth. Now Bharata manages to save the fawn from the lion, and then he takes the baby and he starts nourishing it. Now small young foal, a deer's baby deer, now he starts doing all that is required for that deer. And of course it takes time. It's like a child. And in that process he is not able to do his spiritual practices. Now he gets, over a period of time, he starts getting attached to this deer. He gets more and more attached, and it so happens that he gets old at one point of time and he passes away. At that time he's having that thought of that deer. What will happen to this deer if I pass away? Now this is what I was talking about, that Vishesha Raga, what we were talking, Vishesha Raga. You may have, I have given a Vigata, I have given everything else. I don't have Vairagya to the core. But I have got one Vishesha, some Raga towards one particular thing in life. That is what happened to this Bharata. This great emperor Bharata who had given up the kingdom and come here. He got stuck with this small deer, young deer. And it's like, if I have to tell you, what is the difference between that complete Vairagya and Vishesha Raga? Having given one Raga in your life, how it can create turmoil. This is one great example. And I'll give you another metaphor for you to understand. Let's say there is a 5 feet pit. Now you have to cross that pit. So you are making an attempt to jump. 5 feet, okay, possible. I can jump 5 feet. Now, even if you jump 4 feet 11 inches, you will fall in the pit. To cross that pit, you should be in a position to jump above 5 feet. 100% you should be able to jump. Then only you will reach the other side. Even 4 feet 11 inches will take you into the pit. 2.5 feet also will take you into the pit. 1 feet also will take you into the pit. So this way, this is as risk and reward go together. You are asking for the highest reward, so you have to also practice to that extent. So that Vishesha Raga, now this king Bharata, he dies, and you know what he is born as? He is born as a deer in the next life. Next life, although he is born as a deer, he is in an ashram, and he knows, from where did I come to this particular life? But somehow whatever he had done in his past lives, he being in the ashram, he is again attracted to the sages, to the spiritual talks and his sadhana. And then after he dies as a deer, now he becomes a human again, and is born in a Brahmin family who are having a spiritual background. His name is Jada Bharata at that point. Why it is Jada? Because he pretends to be dull, doesn't know anything, all the time silent. Now, behaving unintelligent, responsive. Why? He doesn't want to get into this worldly attachments and distractions. Now he has understood, from a king, I became a deer, and from a deer, now I have become a son to a Brahmin. He behaves so that he doesn't want to get into any worldly affairs. Then naturally the brothers, after the parents die, the brothers and sister-in-laws, they feel, what is this hug doing over here? All the time eating, doing no work. So they throw him out of the house. That is what he wanted. And there, luckily, what happens is, he was sitting under a tree there. There was one king by name Rahugana who was going in his palanquin to seek spiritual knowledge from sage Kapila. So he was going there, and this story comes in the Bhagavad Purana. So when the king was traveling, one of the carriers of the palanquin, he was unwell that day, and he was not able to carry the palanquin in the right manner. So he had to be substituted. So they see this Jada Bharata who is sitting under the tree, tall, young, stout man. So they call him, "Are you interested to carry? We'll pay you a handsome money." So Jada Bharata says, "Okay," because he also needed money. He is now thrown out of the house. And he puts it on his palanquin, one portion, he keeps it on his shoulder, and now they're walking. Jadabharata, who is compassionate towards all living, non-living organisms, he sees there are some ants on the ground where he was walking. So trying to make way so that it doesn't stamp on the ants. So it was some kind of, he had a wavering walk. Now that wavering walk, as you can understand, in a palanquin, then the palanquin also will shake. So the king gets angry and he yells from inside. At Jadabharata, he says, "You idiot, you're incompetent to carry this palanquin and you look as though you're stout, tall, strong. What is this?" So now, when these remarks of the king were made at the body, saying, "Although you looked stout and strong, you are a weak person." So then he tells him, "See, your remarks, O king, your remarks are directed at my body. Body may be tired and may be weak. However, the Atman, which is neither the carrier nor the one being carried." So suddenly the king gets a jolt. He says, "This Atman is eternal and unaffected by these physical actions or insults." Now further he explains, he says, "The distinctions and roles we perceive in this material world. O king, you are a king now. I am a servant. But these roles are based on that false identification with the body. True wisdom lies in understanding that the soul is beyond these temporal distinctions." Now by then, this king is getting a kick of that philosophical insights. His attitude shifts from arrogance to humility. He gets down off the palanquin. He asks forgiveness to Jadabharata. And then he says, "Can you accept me as my Shishya?" So this interaction, it highlights this transformative power of that spiritual insight. And talks about that importance of looking beyond superficial distinctions, only with a spirit to understand the true nature of oneself. So you see now, we have seen three lives of Bharata, deer and Jadabharata. Now what happened there now? He was carrying these qualities which he had of the previous life. And then eventually he is of course a scholar. Now with this king who was going to learn from Kapila Maharshi, he makes Jadabharata as his teacher and gives him all that is required to further enhance his powers. And there you see that both the king and Jadabharata, they get realized. So this is what the Lord is trying to tell us, that whatever you have done in your past life, I will bring it back and give it to you. And not only that, I will ensure that you get more zeal and zest to move forward on the path of spirituality. Now, what does he say in the next verse, 44th verse? He says, although you feel drawn towards God, suddenly you feel, you may not understand, but you will still see that there is some force in you which is pushing you towards this spirituality. See, if you see in our own lives, how come I'm doing this? Many of my family members are saying, Arey, you're still young, you have got a good job, you have got a good business, you have got a good position. Continue. Maybe after some time when you are retired, that time you can perceive. So he says, no. I will ensure that as he spoke in this 43rd verse, in 44th verse, he gives it further push to this particular aspect. And now let's read the shloka and take it forward. Verse 44. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Purvabhyasena Tenaiva Hriyate Hyavashopi Saha Jignasurapi Yogasya Shabda Brahmati Vartate. So these are all our practical experiences. There is nothing here which is beyond our capability of understanding. If you see, observe this closely, all what is being told over here is literally word by word, if you see, is what? Purvabhyasena tenaiva hriyate hya avasopi saha jignasurapi yogasya shabda brahmati vartate. The influence of the past practice. Purvabhyasena. This is our past practice. Now this indicates that spiritual practices and disciplines which we have taken in our previous life, they are not going to go waste. They have a strong influence on the current life. So this accumulated practice, it naturally pulls an individual towards this yoga and spiritual activities. And what does he say next? Hriyate hya avasopi san. Avasopi, meaning involuntary attraction. See, involuntary action we know. What is that? Now we are breathing. Involuntary. You don't have to concentrate. Your heart is beating, your breathing is happening, your digestion is happening. Whatever process has to happen is all happening within. Are you doing anything? No. So when you are not doing, it is involuntary action. So in the same way he says, even without your knowledge, there is involuntary attraction, he says. Without conscious effort or awareness, an individual is drawn towards the spiritual path because of the momentum of the past prior practices. And I have seen this personally, not only in my life, but in some students, that growth chart is like this. When they come into, it's an acquaintance. Initially, you get acquainted to that person, and then they slowly start their journey. And over a period of time, you see they are like skyrocketing suddenly. No, that is that involuntary attraction which comes. So when I started my course, I did have a feeling that whether I will be able to complete it every day, not even one holiday in those 2 years, 730 days. I said, how it will happen? Let's see, I said, let's take a plunge. If at best it doesn't happen, meaning you are out of the course, that's it. So as I saw, as you started studying and studying, like everything was appearing to be that I have heard this somewhere before. Then tactically, if you think I have never heard in this life, so then that feeling came that this is not of this life. This is of some other life where I feel that I have heard. But if you think back and you see, I have never heard. So along with that jignasu api yogasya, that curiosity and renewal of interest, again and again you want to listen. Again and again you want to understand, you want to feel. Jignasu api yogasya. This curiosity, it makes you lead you towards deeper and deeper in spiritual practices. So this, apart from self-experience, as I told you, it is very clearly reflected in so many sadhaks. And then what happens is Shabda Brahmati Vartate, meaning that transcending that ritualistic sections of the Vedas. I can relate to this particular verse in so much of detail. Earlier, I used to do morning Havan, Agnihotra Havan. I used to do properly 3 times Sandhya Vandanam. Puja in a proper ritualistic manner. Now, Shabda Brahmati Vartate, you cross over that. All these ceremonial duties like rituals, Havan, Puja, Abhishek, Stotra Patan, pilgrimages, temples, you are no more drawn towards that. To the extent what you were doing earlier, now that ratio slowly starts decreasing. And now where is your time going? Time is going more towards Swadhyaya. Swadhyaya is listening to the scriptures and studying the scriptures and doing manana on whatever is told in the scriptures and trying to stay in that nididhyasana. So this suggests that reassuring truth. Yes, I want to get established in this. Where is that where I'm feeling that awareness within me? So first challenge is your mind which was going outside, you turn that mind inside. And then after having turned it inside, you are waiting for the supreme light to show to yourself. So this becomes a challenge for us. Kshina dosha prabhasyanti na itare mayayavrata. To the one who has washed away all his kshina dosha, all the impurities of his mind, automatically the divine light appears to you. Na itare, not for others, because mayayavrata, maya is completely covered. So this practice, again and again you listen, again and again you listen. What happens with that listening? That listening, it has a highly corrosive power. All the spiritual aspects, talks what we listen, they have that corrosive power. They keep removing all that dirt in your mind. So the more and more we do this listening of the Lord's name, that power, it shines on you. So in this way, now this sadhak is experiencing this kind of a transformation. Now again, an interesting story here is about Ratnakara, who was a dacoit, a hardcore, highly dangerous dacoit. Now once he confronts the sage Narada, who was traveling in that forest. Everybody is frantically scared looking at this Ratnakara, who is that dacoit. But Narada is having a hearty chat with him. He asks Narada, what is it? You're not scared of me? He says, why should I be scared of you? What Atma is shining in me is also shining in you. This fellow doesn't understand. What are you talking? I don't see anything shining in you nor in me. Then he says, look, do one thing. Whatever deed you are doing, you think that you are doing for a family. He says, why are you doing this? Ratnakara says, I'm doing for my family, to maintain my family. He says, you know, you are doing a treacherous deed with which you will get papa. And ask your family if they are taking a portion of this pap what you are doing, because they are enjoying the fruits of whatever you are earning by dacoit, as a dacoit. So he says, okay. He says, then I'll be here. You go and come. That Ratnakara, see the grace, the sangat of that sage Narada, it at least gives him that mind, open mind, let me go and check. He goes and checks with his parents, who are seated outside the house. After their dinner, they are relaxing. So he asks father and mother, Papa, Mama, what? Now whatever I am doing this, I am incurring sin. You are a part of that sin. Father says, since how many years I am telling you not to do this, this is not good. Then it strikes him, yes, his father was daily telling him, don't do this, don't do this. He goes to his wife, He asks his wife. Of course, his son was about 6-8 years old, so there was no point in talking to the son. When he asks his wife, are you a part of, you have a share in my sins which I am incurring by doing all this? His wife says, no, why should I take a share in this? Did I tell you to do dacoity and earn for the family? Then he rushes back to sage Narada and he says, what you said is right. Everybody is eating what enjoying the benefits of what I loot, but nobody is ready to share the paap which is a result of these bad actions. And then that realization and transformation happens in Ratnakara. Then he is introduced to that spiritual practice. See, the different stories, they have different levels of commitment. And it tells him, okay, now you can't tell him, okay, you do Mahamrityunjaya mantra. You can't tell him, what will you do Mahamrityunjaya mantra? He said, just chant the name Rama. Rama. He is not able to chant Rama also. Then he says, chant Mara. He says, Mara I can do. Mara, 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 Mara. So that becomes Rama. So that becomes a stage of transformation. And see, he's a dacoit who has gone to a pinnacle of dacoity. That is because he has that commitment and hard work, sincerity. You need that. And expertise. All that. He had those qualities. He gets into intense dedication. So now this Ratnakara went into an inner transformation, shedding his prior ignorance and sins. So just as it was told in this Shloka 44, he was drawn towards spiritual enlightenment, transcending his past actions, and there he gets a boost. So he emerges as Valmiki. See, these are all that Lord's Krupa. You don't know in whose life, how somebody can get transformed. We may all appear to be as beginners as a sadhak, but in which sadhak, what kind of a dynamite is there, we don't know. Suddenly you will see that marvelous change in them. Suddenly they'll become something else. So beyond this ritual, he goes into that deep state of realization. See? Now take the story of Emperor Ashoka. One point of time after conquest of Kalinga, after that war, it was one of the bloodiest battles the history had seen. He somehow gets that feeling of compassion. He's deeply moved by that suffering and death which happens. Then all the horrors of his past deeds come in. Then he adopts Buddhism over there, seeking, basically he says, I want to seek redemption of sins and peace. Then he starts practicing dharma. He becomes a patron of Buddhism, promoting non-violence. The person who has killed lakhs and lakhs of people, he talks about non-violence, compassion, ethical living. See, transcending all his past actions. So this is something who is on the spiritual path. You will not be able to. This year you see somebody, and then next year you will see that same person in a very different stage. Some have a slow growth, but you should not be surprised if you see a phenomenal growth in the sadhaks. So this is what is the power of God in our sadhana, which we should know that His grace is there, and He has told us that I will take you on this path, and that we are now experiencing one after the other, how we are getting elevated to this stage of enlightenment, realization. It's our own practical experience. So whatever Lord Krishna has been talking about, it is coming with so much of truth to us, backed by our own self-experience. Shri Krishna Arpanamastu Idam Brahma. So now we have completed verse 44, 45, 46, 47. So we'll take it up in the next discourse, and then we will immediately start with revision. And as I mentioned, we will be taking Brahma Jnanavalli. Erudite shlokas by Shankaracharya, how to be established in that divine knowledge. Now we know Anatma we are doing. How to give up what is not me. If I have given up what is not me, then I need a platform to hold myself, isn't it? Now I say, you say, this is not your place. Now you jump to the other place. Okay. I jump, but there should be a platform. Otherwise I'll go down the valley, let's say. So that platform we are moving from the Anatma to the Atma. That will be our next subject. And post that, we are going to another great text, which is Aparoksha Anubhuti. This is again written by Bhagavan Adi Shankaracharya, where this is known as a process grantha. It is not Prakarana grantha, it is a Prakriya grantha. The Prakriya is, what is the process of this? So 144 shlokas, where it gives a beautiful recap of all the aspects which we have learned in these 144 shlokas. So we have started already that particular text for the Kannada sadhaks. So we will be going for that. So these are something great revelations which are coming, which I had never thought about, but they are doing wonders in everybody's lives. Okay? Okay. Hari Om. Now we do the Vishnu Sahasranama Shloka number 47. Nama number 437. Let's read the Shloka. Anirvinyastabishtor bhur dharmayupo mahamakaha nakshatra nemi nakshatri Kshamah Kshamas Samihanaha. 437. Abuhu, one who has no birth, or the one having realized whom the seeker will no more have births. Some people dissolve the line Stavishtaha plus Buhu. In that case, instead of Abuhu, they give the Lord the name Buhu, meaning earth. Just as the earth is a stage upon which the entire drama of life is being played, Sri Narayana is the substratum upon which the entire world of experiences is playing about. So Abuhu is that divine Lord to whom we completely surrender. Om Tat Sat. So to upkeep the machinery which takes us from place to place, which is our good health, we pray to Lord Dhanvantari. Om Namo Bhagavate Mahasudarshanaya Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraye Amrudagalashahastaya Sarvabhaya Vinashaya Sarvaroga Nivaranaya Trailokyapataye Trailokyanadaye Nidhaye. Om Shri Mahavishnu Swarupa Shri Dhanvantari Swarupa Shri 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 Aushadha Chakra Narayanaya Swaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Mahasudarshanaya Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraye Amrudagalashahastaya Sarvabhaya Vinashaya Sarvaroga Nivaranaya Trailokyapataye Trailokyanidhaye Shri Mahavishnu Swarupa Shri Dhanvantari Swarupa Shri 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 Aushadha Chakra Narayanaya Swaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Mahasudarshanaya Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraye Amrudagalashahastaya Sarvabhaya Vinashaya Sarvaroga Nivaranaya Trailokyapataye Trailokyanidhaye श्री महाविष्णु स्वरूप श्री धन्वंतरी स्वरूप श्री 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 औषध चक्र नारायणाय स्वाहा. Offering our sincere prayers to Lord Dhanvantari, keeping us mentally, physically and emotionally fit to seek the path of realization and achieve our goals. Om Tat Sat. Now let's do the Aparokshanubhuti Sadhana Dhyana. We are on number 15 today. Come. All of you please be comfortably seated for the next 15 minutes. If you need to get up, relax your body a bit, please do that. Sit in a comfortable posture. Head, neck and spine in a straight line. Body is straight but not rigid. In a relaxed mode but straight. Relax your face, especially your forehead. Relax your neck, your shoulders, your arms and your back. Take a few deep breaths. Inhale and exhale as deep as you can. Focus on the inhalation and the exhalation. Focus on which nostril is active. Is it the right nostril or the left nostril? Now let's do the Anulom Vilom 3 times. Now let's do the Brahmari Pranayam. Now, after having charged our brain sufficiently, now let's focus on concentrating. We'll chant 12 rounds of Mahamrityunjaya mantra. You can use the square techniques where you're placing on square 1, square 2, square 3. So your mind is focused on one point. That is the purpose of this meditation. So I will chant twice and then we chant the rest 10 mantras in our mind and then we go for our meditation. Now we are enhancing our power of concentration. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardanam Uruvarukamiv Bandhanan Mrityor Mukshiyamamritat. Move to the second square. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardanam Urvarukamiv Bandhanan Mrityor Mukshiyamamritat. Now silently move to the third square and thereon. Now we start our Anatma Dhyana. Shrotram Tvaku Chakshu Rasana Granam Samarpayami. The ears, the skin, the eyes, the tongue, and the nose. They do not belong to me, they belong to the Creator, Paramatma. All these sense organs were created in the mother's womb by Prakriti, and I have no contribution in the creation of these organs. I have no idea of how these organs are made or created. The sense of hearing, the sense of touch, sense of vision, the sense of taste and smell. All these faculties are again beyond my understanding, and I have no contribution in the creation of these faculties. But all along, due to ignorance, I always kept saying and thinking that I am the hearer, I am the seer, I am the taster. Now I truly understand that all that is happening with these sense organs are happening by Prakriti, not only created by Prakriti, but functioning of these organs are also by that Chetana Shakti within us. Having realized this, I am a sheer witness, a mere observer of all these activities. The sense of I is a falsity, an outcome of sheer ignorance. I completely understand this fact. Vakpanipadam upastapayuhu samarpayami. Speech, hands, legs, genitals, anus, all these organs of action are created by Prakriti in the mother's womb. I have no contribution towards the creation of these organs. From week to week, month to month, all these organs have been created in the womb. Even the functioning of these organs are enlivened by the Paramatma through his Chetana Shakti. Out of ignorance, I always say I am talking, I am giving, I am walking. All these moment to moment are supported by the Creator. In ignorance, I was doing all this. Now I realize and I become a witness to all these actions. Prana, Pana, Vyana, Udana, Samana, all the vital functions of the prana, breathing in terms of inhalation, exhalation, which is responsible for the cleansing of the blood. Then throwing away toxins, giving hunger and thirst to the body from time to time, and also giving the feeling of being satiated, absorbing the nutrients from the food we eat, and distributing the nutrients to various parts of the body in the right proportion, at the right time. All these are created and maintained and performed by the Creator. I have no role to play in this. I have no contribution towards this. I completely understand and realize that I was a fool in saying I am doing all this. I am hungry, I am full. Now I am a sure witness to all the activities that are happening in the body and in this jiva. Mana, buddhi, chitta, ahankara, the mind which is constantly giving us thoughts. If I was the creator and if I was functioning this mind would be under my control. I would be able to stop the mind whenever I wanted. But I have no idea how the mind functions. I have no control over the mind. This mind was created in the mother's womb again, just as the pranas were also created in the mother's womb. Buddhi, the faculty of intelligence. If it was me who has created this, I would have created to become a genius. I have no role in the creation, nor in its functioning. The faculty of memory is again created in the womb of the mother. If I was the creator, I would be able to remember everything I want. But it's so hard to remember. I have no role to play in this. Now lastly comes ahankara. This is the dividing wall between the jiva and Ishvara. God has built this wall of giving the sense of ahankara to a jiva. Sa eva jivaha prakritya swasmat ishvaram bhinnatvena janati. He himself has made this jiva to look outward, to look away from the Lord, and be in the notion that it is doing everything. Now here is the culprit. The default setting is I am the doer and God has got nothing to do with this. Now with Ishvara Krupa, ordained by Paramatma, by the Shastras and the Guru, I get to know how to change the default settings. I was hypnotized to be a jiva. Now I am being hypnotized to know that I am not the jiva, but the Paramatma Tattva. Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha. Having been established in this truth, I rejoice in the fact that there is one and only Brahman appearing as many. There is none other than him, Ekam Advitiya Brahma. I am given a choice to come out of this Jiva Bhava, and I am exercising this choice fully to be established in that one eternal, permanent, infinite, supreme truth. Aham Brahmasmi. Aham Brahmasmi. Aham Brahmasmi. You are not saying this as the Jiva, it is that Paramatma using this body and the vocal cord is uttering the supreme truth. You are an observer of all that is happening. Continue to remain an observer, a witness, a sakshi. Om Tat Sat. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Together we offer today's Gita Jnana Yajna at the lotus feet of the Almighty. We seek His grace, mercy, blessings. Naham Karta Hari Karta Hari Preranaya Hari Prityartam Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Om Tat Sat. Good evening to all of you once again. So let's be established in this knowledge which we have got, which is a rare privilege, and we are the ordained privileged souls. Let's be aware of this fact and delve into it deeply and hanker for the devotion of the Lord, to become one with Him. There is no greater pursuit in life than this. Shri Krishna.